I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. No, I mean, Vern and I own the station, so I'm technically vice president, but we all wear a lot of hats around here. So I'm the sales manager and I'm accounts payable and accounts receivable along with Monique. And I'm in charge of selling the Prump Fall Festival magazine, and we're in charge of taking care of all the rodeo and entertainment sponsorships for the town for the Prump Fall Festival. So, man, we just do a lot. I do a lot.
What's all the products that KPVM has to sell?
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so number one is television. And of course, we offer production for clients out there. And a lot of people think it's too expensive to be on TV. I don't think they realize that a lot of our commercials range from $99 to $299 locally to get a commercial done. I mean, they can do a super expensive one, and we are capable of making a really high-end commercial. But here locally, they don't always need that. So we're capable of doing it all. We also do corporate videos. Something that's really relative to today is doing videos for websites. I think that's huge because if you have a website, you really should have a video about yourself. Something a lot of businesses could do are training videos. Let's say, for instance, you're going into the doctor and you have to have a procedure. Well, a lot of people are coming in needing the same procedure. So rather than the doctor repeating himself over and over again, they can actually sit you in a room. You can watch a video about what you need to do to prepare for the procedure. So those are just some of the things we do there. On the print end, we can do magazines. We can send out mailer postcards for people. We have some of them that actually include what's called a QR code that once the recipient gets it in the mail, they can scan it on their phone and it comes up to their information. It's called a landing page. And on that landing page, there can be a short video. We do a number of things that people just don't realize that we do. Something else we can do are signs. When I say that, I mean more of political signs. We can do bigger signs, but we really leave that to other businesses in town because that's their main thing. So we don't really offer signage too much for buildings, but we can do smaller things.
You also have, besides television commercials, TV shows that are produced here inside the studio.
We can do some TV shows, and we can do low end all the way to high end. It just depends what you want and what your budget is. We pretty much work with any budget. So let's say you want to have a half-hour local show, you can come in and get a quote for that, and it includes us letting you use the studio and a technical engineer to help you with 3 cameras and a little bit of graphics, and you can get your show done. And your airtime usually includes 2 airtimes, one on our main channel because we have 4 channels, and one that would air on one of our other dot channels for you.
So what's it like to be selling advertising for such a huge amount of different areas? Like you said, you have 4 digital channels, plus print advertising, plus television shows, plus also helping out with the fall festival. How do you keep it in track of what you're selling and what packages that you can offer?
It's tough. Right now, with this economy, we're about half the staff we used to be. So, which just means all of us that are here are a lot busier. And I think you know what I mean. I mean, you do everything with the news department. And so sometimes it's tough to stay on top of everything. We're really good about keeping really detailed spreadsheets of everything we're doing and the follow-up for everything that we're doing, because follow-up is so key. You can always go sell something, but if you don't follow up on it and make sure it works for the client, then what's the point? Because it's not a win-win. We want it to work for you, otherwise you're not going to come back to us. So it's super important. Follow-up is like everything.
How many on the sales team?
Right now we have a full-time salesperson, or sales executive, and that is Courtney Solomon. And we have her. Monique does sales part-time. I do sales part-time. Sometimes Vernon does. We also have outside of the office, we have Pat Trotter, Ryan Muccio, Janet Arrett, and Pat Wall that do outside services for us. So there's a number of people that can help you with different items.
And what's it like to sell to the town of Pahrump? And do you go to outside sources?
We mostly focus on Pahrump. It can be challenging because with just like everybody else, all the businesses in Pahrump are seeing their financial challenges, especially since the economy crashed. So we've had to adjust to help them so that they can still advertise at an affordable rate, and we've all had to lose money. They've lost, but they're still wanting to spend to expose their business and get some business in. And at the same time, we've cut things way down and to try to make it feasible for them to do it, so that again, it's a win-win. It's not just one person making money and the other person's not.
How'd you get started here?
I came to the station in 1998, and I started with a show called Tourist Time. It was a tourism show for Southern Nevada, and we would go to, let's see, what is it called? Oh, Hoover Dam, sorry. Hoover Dam and Oatman, Arizona, and we did a balloon show, and we just traveled around. We did China Date Ranch. It was a lot of fun. And so that's how I got started with the TV station. I was always into entertainment and singing and things like that, but I had never worked in TV. So I came here, started out in TV, learned to edit because of that, because I started editing the show. And man, back then editing wasn't so easy because it was reel to reel. It was like all tape to tape. Yeah. So now people do it on computers and it's called nonlinear. Well, I did linear editing, like ancient dinosaur linear editing. So, and that was on beta tape, which people are like, beta, isn't that old? But beta is super duper high quality. It almost looks digital like today, where they went from beta to VHS, and VHS wasn't as clear and sharp, but it was less expensive. That's how everybody ended up going to VHS. But beta, all the TV industry and movie industry, they were using beta because it was so sharp and clear, even though it was more expensive. So that's what I did. I edited from reel to reel. I had to make all my own effects. There was nothing computerized. It was hard. But that's how I started way back in 1998.
You've learned a lot of other techniques and technical things about a television station just being with your husband. Let's talk a little bit about that. And learning just the day-to-day runnings of how to run a television station.
It's crazy. Sometimes I call the station the black hole because once you get here, you can't get out. But Vern, I have to say, I'm impressed. He had a degree in broadcasting, but he didn't have a TV station and everything that comes along with that, transmitters, satellites, the programs to automation to make everything run. Matter of fact, when I first got here, to put a commercial on the air, you had to sit there and physically switch it. We had a switcher with a knob, and when it was time to put a commercial on, you could actually say, and now commercial break on a microphone, and you would switch it. You slide it up, and it'd go to the commercial. You'd hit play. When it was done, you slide it back down.
So that's why television went from having certain hours to being able to be 24-hour broadcasting now.
Yes.
Because you don't have to sit there.
You don't have to sit there. It's all automated now. So TV's come a long way in the last 15 years, I have to say, and this station has come a long, long way.
KPVM celebrating, I believe it's 17-year anniversary.
17 years on September 12th, I think it is. So, and we're going to be doing a chamber mixer up here, and everybody's going to be invited. It should be fun. I don't know how we're going to pull it off because we're already so slammed, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, Fall Festival coming up. So you and Vern have been married for how long? How many kids? What's going on there?
We have been married, going on 9 years or something? We're so busy we can't keep track of it. At 2005, we got married. He has 2 boys from his previous marriage, and I have 2 boys from my previous marriage. So together, we have 4 men, and they are all men. They're grown, and we have 2 grandchildren from Vern's second son, his youngest, and my 2 boys are not at the age yet where they're having children. They could, but they're in school in Las Vegas. So
they're both in school in Las Vegas, and then Vern's kids are where?
Vern's kids are in Orange County, and
That's where he's from, right?
yes, he came
Where are you
from Orange
from?
County. I came from San Diego County, California, and I got here in 1994, and Vern got here in 1996, I think. because it took him a little while to get the station started in 1997. So he worked on it for several months. So,
You guys met here at the station, fell in love here at the station.
oh yes, this is where we met, and eventually we hooked up, and we were friends first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, do you think that the stress of the station helps your marriage, or being together all the time helps your marriage, or hinders your marriage?
You know what? Let's see, what's the word? It's a love-hate relationship. Because Vern's kind of the hard-nosed guy, he's like, and I'm like the employees. I'm always up for the employees, and so we get a balance there between good guy, bad guy type of thing. But we get along great because we work together every single day. We're together every single night, and we rarely fight. So, and if we do, usually it's about an employee or something, but for the most part, we get along great. So I would say it's a privilege to be able to work with your spouse as long as you guys get along,
And
Once in a
build what
while-
you guys have built together.
You know what? I have to give him credit. He built this, and, I was along for the ride. I was actually blown away at the things he did because in 2003 or 4, when we added the second half of the station, I was like, how are you going to do this? There's no money to do this. And he just makes things happen. That is what he does. Because he didn't have money to start this station either. And he made it happen.
Yeah.
So he's just one of those guys that he has an idea, he makes it happen, and he figures out how it's going to happen as he goes.
And some of the things that we really notice about you guys is that you show mutual respect and admiration for each other.
We do. And he's a sweetheart. I have to say he's a really, really good husband. He's a doll. I'm usually the cranky one. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm female and I'm up and down with emotions, but he's a really good guy.
What do you guys hope to see for the station in the future?
I would love to see the economy get better in Pahrump, which helps the businesses, which in turn helps us so that we can help them. It's all relative. It really is. Everything affects everything. It's a chain effect. It's a domino effect.
What would you suggest for a business that's trying to grow and the advertising? What would you give for advice as to them if they're on a tight budget? What should they do?
Well, the thing is that whether it's a business or let's say a politician in a rural community, the rule of 3 applies, and it's a statistic that has been proven that you need a lot of exposure out there. A lot of people have to see impressions of your business, and that doesn't just mean TV. It could mean TV, radio, billboard signs, print ads. It's called the rule of 3 because they'll see or hear your ad 3 times and they don't even notice it. Multiply that times 3 and then you have 9. At 9 exposures, it might be starting to sink into the brain a little bit, but it hasn't moved anybody to action. Multiply that times 3, and after 27 exposures, if they need you, they're moved to action. And if you have a really good offer out there, it's helpful. So if you're going to use multiple medias, make sure you're backing up your advertising so that once they get those 27 exposures, they're actually moved to do something. So we have programs all the way as low as $25 a week to help somebody. So if you're willing to spend $25 to go out to eat a week, then you need to be willing to spend it on your business. And you will get quite a bit of exposure for that. And granted, you're not going to be in the newscast because the newscast is more expensive than that. But we can do something to fit every budget. And you should get your name out there as much as you can. Repeat, repeat, repeat.